back to my channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Wednesday, and for today's video, I finished up some ornaments that I'd started probably a couple weeks ago, you guys. And if you follow me, you know that last week was pretty darn exhausting, getting the cottage all cleaned and rearranged and decorated for the holidays, as well as the last finishing touches of getting things moved out of our house. So I was really looking forward to spending some time in my kitchen creating. That didn't happen quite as much as I hoped though, but I did manage to get these ornaments done for you guys. So I can't wait to show them to you. They turned out really cute, at least I think so. I hope you guys like them too. And without further ado, let's get to today's video. For today's project, I finally finished these little canning jar lid ornaments that I started quite a while ago, honestly. I had gotten them almost done and then just never seemed to be able to sit down and actually get them finished. So that is what I did today. So I started by taking, these are just the inserts that go inside the ring, and I am giving each side of these 3 coats of DIY's Crinoline. And I think the reason it took 3 coats is just because this metal is a little bit slick. So the first coat, there was quite a bit of shadowing left that I had to go over, and the third coat ended up just kind of being to cover up any places that I had missed. So again, just both sides, 3 good coats of that crinoline paint, and then letting them dry completely. I'm going to be decoupaging the front sides of these lids with this beautiful decoupage paper by Roycycled Treasures. It's called Christmas Journal. And I saw that there were a few little pictures in this paper that I thought would be perfect for these canning jar lids. So my first goal was to figure out exactly which images I wanted to cut out for the fronts of all 6 of my lids. And that took me a minute to do. And then once I had it figured out, I went ahead and put the lid under the image I wanted to use. And then I used my fingernails to really score a good line so that I could see exactly where I needed to cut out. And then once I had it scored, I just took my scissors and cut that image out. So I ended up with little circles to go inside each of my canning jar lids. Once I was done cutting out all my circles, it was time to decoupage them onto the fronts of my lids. And for my medium, I am just using the clear liquid patina by DIY. I'm using a small paintbrush to apply my medium to the front of the canning jar lid, then laying my decoupage paper down over the center, and then just going over that with a second coat of that liquid patina. Now for these ornaments, I wanted a very neutral palette, which is why I chose this particular paper. There are lots of beautiful elements on this paper, but all of them are pretty muted as far as their colors go. Now, unfortunately, I am out of the Christmas journal paper. However, I think another great alternative would be the holiday patterns decoupage paper by Roycycled. I think they would look lovely in this same application, and then they're neutral enough that you could even put a stamp or a transfer over the top of them in the little circle. So there's just a million different ways you could go with these, and it was definitely kind of a fun little project. Now, the one thing I noticed as I was putting all my little circles in place was that even though I was very careful when I cut them out, the edges were still just a touch on the raggedy side. So I decided for a solution for that, I would use glitter. So I ended up going to Hobby Lobby and picking up a couple different options. My favorite ended up being some glitter glue that was a little bit easier to apply. Now, I was really trying to get a nice steady flow out of the glitter glue, but unfortunately, it definitely wasn't perfect. And so I did my best to just go around the edge of the paper and very carefully put one little line of the glitter glue. But in the end, I ended up going back with a little flat screwdriver and just kind of straightening some of the edges out where there were humps in the glitter glue or little places where it had missed. So I just used my little flat screwdriver here to just go around and make sure that everything looked even all the way around the circle. Now, since I did pick up some other glitter, I wanted to try it. So for that, I used my PVA glue, which is just a clear drying glue that I normally use for flowers. And I just put a bead of that around the edge of the paper again. And then I sprinkled some kind of opalescent, pretty white glitter over that. And then I just tapped the excess off and let it dry. Now, I did realize that it was a little chunkier than I would have liked. So before the glue was completely dry, while it was just a little bit tacky, I took a paintbrush, just a little artist brush, and I used that to kind of push the glue back a little bit so that the line wasn't quite as fat as it was before. Once all my glue was completely dry, I grabbed out this Decor wax by Redesign with Prima. This one is called Eternal. And I went around the very edges of the canning jars. I noticed where I'd painted the top and the bottom, you could still see just a little bitty line of the chrome color, aluminum color, whatever, around the very edges. So I just wanted to cover that up and just make the edges pretty. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I just put a little bit of that wax on my fingertip, went around the outside edge really well with that, and then I just brushed a little bit on to the edges of the canning jar as well. Then it was time to embellish my little ornaments. And for that, I used some velvet ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby. And I just cut that into little strips and then tied a simple knot and then cut my ends so they were pretty. And I glued those on with my hot glue gun. And then I had these cute little bling circles that I bought at Amazon some time ago. And for those, I used my Titebond Quick and Thick to glue on. So for each of my ornaments, I added one of the little ribbon knots and one bling circle. And it really depended on what my image looked like that was on each of the ornaments as to where I placed the ribbon and the little piece of bling. But once I was finished with that, I still needed to make these so they could hang on the tree. So I grabbed a screw to poke a hole in each one, and I just used my hammer to hammer it through, and then I finished up the hole with my screw gun just to make sure I had a good even hole, and then I just used some jute twine to tie a circle to the top of each one of my ornaments. Now, one thing I do have to admit is that somewhere along the line, I completely forgot to seal the backs of these. So I will be going over the backs of these ornaments with a coat of Big Top to seal them, and then they will be finished. I do absolutely love how these came together though, and I really hope you guys do too. it from here for today, you guys. What did you think of my canning jar lid ornaments? I'm pretty honestly happy with how they came out, and there are just so many different options that you could use to decorate them. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of my project for today. Also, just a quick reminder, any of the paint and products you see me use can be purchased through me at my website, and that's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. It's listed below in my description box as well. I carry DIY paint and products, Sweet Pickins milk paint and products, as well as the Roycycled Treasures decoupage papers and some Redesign with Prima. So check those out there. And just a little bit of good news on the home front. Like I said, we finally got all the things out of our old house, got it cleaned. It is done. We signed papers on it yesterday. Now we are just waiting for the funding to go through for our new house. If everything goes well, in 2 days' time, we should be getting keys for our new place. So I'm really, really excited. My husband and I are so tired of living in our little bitty trailer with our big dog and our 3 cats and tripping over them all the time. So it will be such a relief to get into our house. So keep your fingers crossed for us. Send up a couple prayers that everything goes smoothly over the next couple days and we're able to move in on Friday. Anyway, for, let's see, Saturday's video, I'm really not 100% sure what that's going to look like at this point. I'm hoping to get back into the kitchen and get a few more things accomplished. I've got some projects that I've started on, so hopefully I can get those done for you guys by Saturday. So please join me back here for that. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and beginning of the weekend. And I hope to see you back here on Saturday. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Bye.